What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another SLA video. I missed you guys. I really do. It's been a long day, guys. I apologize. Normally I'd have a couple videos up, but today we've been busy doing real life things. So I'm happy to be back here and providing you guys with a little bit of content to get you through the day. And hopefully this is a useful one. Now, before I go any further, I want to say a huge collab has happened. That's right. Outside of the game itself, Zaf, my boy Zaf Virus and Payne's Angels have come together to create an ultimate mega guild. That's right, we are banding our groups together to create an incredibly powerful guild, multiple of them most likely. And if you are looking to be a part of probably the most competitive guild, next to one of the most competitive, shout out to Mouse and all those guys as well too, obviously have great guilds. If you're looking for an incredible guild to join, we are looking and going to be recruiting people who are heavy hitters. We're looking at a minimum of 140 RC for both runs. And if you are somebody who's willing to learn and grow and become better, you got some of the best players in the world on both sides of the fence coming together to teach you that. So make sure, guys, you come join us. Make sure you join both Discords. Ask questions to anybody you need. You can get a hold of Holy Hells, myself. There's Val from Zaf's side, Zaf himself. And if you have any further questions, or if you want to know how to be a part of this mega guild, give us a shout. Promise you guys, you won't be disappointed. Not only that, but we got an incredible community as well too. Of course, also one other thing I want to say, 2000 Essence Soul code has expired, guys. For those who missed out on it, unfortunately, that's why I keep reminding you guys to click that support button. I'm going to do it again. Click that support button. I'll be sending out codes again. We have 2 current active codes that are very, very good still, and you should definitely take advantage of them. One of them being 1,500 Essence Stones, including 30 Traces of Shadows, and the other one being 300k gold and Mana Imbued Fabric times 100k. Those codes will be sent out every single day to all new supporters. Everyone else should already have them. If you don't, please let me know in the comment section. You might not be looking at the right place. Hopefully you are, and get yourself some free codes, guys. It's worth it. Now let's go back into the game and let's talk a little bit about SJW's best skills currently in the game. A lot of people still wondering what they should be using, which ones kind of died out, which ones are really good now. So we're going to talk about all of that and kind of give you guys a full breakdown of what you should be focusing on in terms of skills and which areas of the game. So let's talk about that, and we'll talk about Blessing Stones after this video. We'll do another video on Blessing Stones because I feel like there needs to be a rerun of that one as well too, okay? So first off, let's talk a little bit about skills. Useless. Absolutely useless. There's no need for these skills. You level them up strictly for power purposes. No other reason why. This one over here has some uses. The actual Crushing Blow Ascension Break does increase your ultimate skill much faster and also decreases the cooldown. Can be used fairly well. This one over here, the dark one here, is not bad as well too. Does apply a shield, does heavy break as well too with a counter attack, especially if you counter. Can be very useful at times. And then the wind one here also creates a shield. This one is not as useful, but does increase attack 4% 4 times on the legendary version. So you can use it for buffing yourself a little bit for attack if you need it. And then lastly, the light one here deals dot damage, which is probably the worst one of the bunch. Let's go over to, so these ones here, honestly, the only one I'd really use realistically, if you're looking for heavy break, this is not a bad one. This is great for ultimates, and this is actually, this one over here is not bad. All of these though can be bypassed. They're really not useful. So the first 2 skills, I'd say not that good. Now, going over here, Detonation, massive skill. One that everybody should be using against any fire-related units or fire weakness units, especially with guild bosses. Amazing. Or POD, another really good one. Same with this one over here, Electric Shock. Those 2 right there are the best of the best when it comes down to dagger toss. Absolute must-haves at legendary. And I'm still working on getting one of mine. I got this one for Mythic. That was my Mythic draw. It sucked, but that's where I'm at, okay? Now, Rush, also not a bad one. Multi-Strike is not bad. Rush is fairly decent. It does increase the damage of Crushing Blow as well too by 20% whenever you use this. When the final land hits, it also deals weak break damage every 3 seconds up to for 12 seconds. So it does have a little dot for break. Kind of useful, but not the greatest either, right? And all of these ones here, I'd say, are okay. They do fast damage. That's really the purpose of multi-strike. They're all very fast attacking. And this one over here actually does increase critical hit rate by 5% for 8 seconds. When the skill hits, it resets the cooldown as well too, so you can do it twice. So it's kind of useful for that. But honestly, out of all of these, I'd say the only one I would use once in a while is Illusion because of the dagger increase, the dagger toss, cooldown decrease. And then each time the skill hits, it increases Jinwoo's damage by 10%, stacking up to 3 times. This one actually is Illusion's one that a lot of people don't use and that I really, really do like. But I'd say these 3 here are probably my favorite. Okay? Again, not mandatory. All right, Crosshairs. Man, oh man, this is really, really good. Crosshairs is probably one of my favorite skills in the game. Used for POD, used for a lot of bosses like the Ice Queen in Encores. Crosshairs is a must-have. You definitely need to have that. This one over here, the water one, is one of the only decent water skills in the game. It does do a lot of break damage, up to 250%, higher at the mythic level. But honestly, I wouldn't really rely on this unless you're doing BOT. I think that's where it really shines. This one used to be the go-to for POD, not anymore. And then this one's good for multi-BOT attacks. So if you're doing a wind one with multi-enemies, this is a great one to help you because it increases the damage of this attack with more monsters in place, right? So really, really good, but really Crosshair stands out as one of the best skills in the game right now, especially for SJW. So make sure if you're JINWOO, this is a must-have for sure, okay? Now, all of these ones here, fairly decent skills, fairly decent. Some of them do fairly good damage. For example, this one here, Internal Wound, does decrease the damage by 15%, so not a bad one if you're missing Shadow Steps. That used to be what we used before in POD. Nowadays, you can't miss Shadow Steps. It's almost impossible. So this has kind of lost its luster, but in some situations, you still may want to use it. And then, of course, here, Decimate actually does fairly decent damage. It increases Jinwoo's attack by 15% for 12 seconds. So this is probably the most important one out of all of them. Where the weakness really stems for all of these Vital Strikes is the fact that there's only one element attached to it, and that's it. Same with Phantom. For Mutilate, all of them do fairly good damage, but none of them really stand out, right? Again, the Dark one's very good because there's a 50% chance it ignores 100% of the target's defense, so you do a lot more damage. This one over here can freeze, so that's also very good. The rest are more just DPS ones, right? But again, not good enough. I don't ever really see people using Mutilate outside of course, when you're a beginner. So Mutilate, you can probably skip. Death Dance, really, really powerful, almost across the board, right? Earth Shock increases your critical hit damage, does heavy break. High speed rotation, a must-have nowadays for anyone using Stormbringer, so this is huge. The Dark one does more damage with heavy break on bosses and elite monsters, so another big one. And then the Fire one, damage increased by 55% whenever the enemy has a weakness as well too. So the Fire one's probably the weakest. I'd say this one and this one are the two best, and these are used very often still to this point. So if you have Death Dance, these are the two you want to aim for, guys. All right, now let's go over to Commander's Touch. Yeah, there's a couple here that are really good. Number one, Liberation. Love Liberation. This one resets your QTE. You can cast it twice. It's amazing. Very powerful. Good AoE. Makes your Thunderstorm reactivate. Hits like a damn truck, right? So very, very good. Finish is another really good one that also reduces the target's defense by 20% and has a massive DPS increase for the damage that it provides for 20 seconds. Black Hole used to be very useful. We no longer use this anymore because it really has no space in the game. We've got too many AoE moves that do better. So Black Hole's the worst one out of all of them. And then Absorption. This one's still fairly good, especially when you try to do BOT and gather a lot of enemies at once and increase your power gauge. This one still stands out quite a bit. But all in all, these two are the best ones. Liberation probably being number one, and then Finisher being number two. So those two you absolutely want to focus on. And then going over here to Armor Break. This is probably my favorite break out of all, by far. So it's got the light break here, which makes you go invincible. It also scales off of defense, so very, very powerful. Plus, you avoid a lot of like one-shot hit mechanics by just casting this at the right time. Decimate over here does incredible damage. Problem with it is it has a massive charge, like a big charge, but it also increases your crit damage by 80% for 5 seconds. And not 5 seconds, you can do a ton of damage going through with anything that does big crit hits, right? And then, of course, Vacuum Wave being the most popular of them. Good break. The only problem with Vacuum Wave, of course, is you have to let the full cast finish for the break to apply. But the good thing is, even if you don't finish the full cast on an enemy who doesn't have a break bar, you'll do 15% more damage for 12 seconds. And this also increases the damage of vertical arts by 30%. So if you're using this with like the wind one or with crosshairs, you're doing way more damage with them as well too, right? And then Iceberg, of course, just almighty break, gives you guys a freeze. That's about it. Again, water sucks in general, right? So out of these ones here, you probably want to go these two as the best two, and then the light one as the third supplement in case you need it. And then lastly, Dagger Rush. Dagger Rush, the best one here by far for break purposes and overall damage, is going to be Dispersion. And then next up, it's going to be this one over here, Breach, which also increases the amount of crit damage you do on the opponent, stacks up to 5 times for 10 seconds. And then over here, you guys can see as well too, the damage increases by 30% when attacking an enemy with their weakness elemental. It also has heavy break. And then the water one over here has almighty break, but also if you're close to the opponent, you'll deal 7% more damage to that hole within the 5 meter range. So very, very powerful. And then lastly, Explosion, which I like, by the way. It does a lot of damage. The problem with Explosion is you can't move, right? It just stands still. So this is the only downfall to that one. But I'd say these three here are the most important. So Sonic, let's go to the best one. I left the best for last, and that's Sonic Stream. Sonic Stream has the most powerful moves in the game still by far for any element that matters, except for water, of course. Light, double down. insane damage, insane damage. Have to finish the entire attack though, of course, and you do great damage with double down as well too in that 7 seconds when there's no break bar. This one here with Sonic Explosion, anything that requires a core attack, anything that uses core attack, this is the go-to. Not only does it do a great percentage for damage, but it also increases the amount your core damage does, plus activates your core, right? And then over here with Wind Shroud, just overall good range, great attack speed, and amazing, amazing DPS on this one. And then lastly, of course, the most powerful of them all, Magnifying Slashes, which hasn't been used very often, but still is king when it comes down to POD or Guild Boss when it is Dark Day, and is probably the most powerful skill in the game. So if you're going to focus on any of these guys, the best ones for break, Armor Break for sure. This is what you want to focus on. For DPS, Sonic Stream, right? And also Dagger Toss. So those two are the best DPS ones. And when it comes down to overall usability for like AoE, you absolutely want to use Liberation or Finisher for that. Or you can use yourself Dispersion as well too from here. And then of course, lastly, Crosshairs. Those are the best skills in the game, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.